evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to TVS Nightline. I'm Muhammad Yusuf, and let us begin with our top story. Health and safety becomes a high risk and are to be given ultimate attention, especially during the flood season, as many are exposed to unseen dangers. Due to that, Sarawak Fire and Rescue Department Director JPBM Datuk Khairuddin Rahman urged the public to avoid exposing themselves to the risk of leptospirosis and melioidosis through the contaminated waters in the flood. He also commented that polluted flood waters are contaminated with various types of bacteria such as E. coli and coliform.
Contohnya bermain air banjir, peralatan pelindungan diri, minum air dan juga yang banyak adalah bila berlakunya ancaman kencing tikus di mana tempat-tempat PPS yang digunakan ini kadang-kadang terdedah kepada mungkin lama dewan itu tidak digunakan.
Commenting further, Khairuddin Rahman also advised the public to be on high alert on poisonous animals such as scorpions and snakes, especially during the rainy season. At the same time, governmental agencies such as the State Disaster Management Committee (SDMC) and the Ministry of Health will ensure the compliance of the new normal is adhered to during the entire evacuation process at the temporary evacuation centres (PPS).
Memang pihak KKM akan memantau selain daripada prosedur SOP COVID-19, mereka juga memastikan keselamatan ancaman kencing tikus dan binatang yang berbisa di kawasan-kawasan PPS akan diberi perhatian.
349 flood-prone areas have been identified in the state, with 97 landslides possible occurrence, especially in rural areas. As such, locals are urged to gear up in taking precautionary measures, especially during the flood season.
Sarawak Fire and Rescue Department have also identified 77 locations with potential landslides to occur following continuous heavy rain located mostly in Sri Aman and Sibu.
Secara umumnya, seluruh Sarawak ni berpotensi sebenarnya. Sebab kita ada 349 hotspot yang kita kumpul daripada kes-kes terdahulu lah. Ada 349 hotspot yang kawasannya berisiko banjir. Tetapi kawasan paling tinggi adalah di kawasan Marudi. Di kawasan Marudi yang merupakan ada bilangannya segi 65 tempat merupakan laluan sungai dan sebagainya. Ini adalah kawasan-kawasan yang kata orang kerap banjir lah. Dan di sekitar Kuching pun sama juga lah, ada yang macam. Dan kita juga telah kena pasti 97 kawasan yang berpotensi kata tanah runtuh dan 77 kawasan yang boleh menyebabkan jalan terputus hubungan kepada kawasan penempatan lah. Ini antara perancangan-perancangan yang kita dah pun sediakan dan kita war-warkan ini kepada orang ramai lah supaya di peringkat komuniti itu sendiri mengambil langkah bersiap sedia juga. Jangan kata bomba saja bersedia, tetapi di peringkat komuniti, di peringkat ahli masyarakat itu seharusnya juga bersedialah, terutama mereka yang duduk di kawasan berisiko banjir itu tadi.
In addition, Deputy Director of Sarawak Fire and Rescue Department, Henry Ardi, said his team is ever ready in preparing logistics equipment for land, air and sea operations that can be mobilized immediately to ensure operations can be conducted smoothly.
Dan kita di peringkat negeri Sarawak sendiri, seperti mana kita dah war-warkan pada 1 hari bulan 10 lepas, Oktober lepas, kita dah pun mula sidang media daripada pihak peringkat jabatan kita tentang persediaan di peringkat bomba. Termasuklah mengarahkan pembukuan cuti, termasuklah meminta kita punya jentera dan bot-bot ni diselenggara dan untuk bersiap sedia bagi menghadapi musim landas atau musim terkujuh tu yang kita jangkakan sampailah ke Mac 2022 kelak. Jadi Met Malaysia dah mula meramalkan bermula dari 3 November sampai ni akan berlakunya musim banjir ataupun berlakunya episod hujan yang lebat yang boleh memberi kesan kepada kawasan-kawasan yang berisiko rendah dan juga yang kata orang tadi berisiko banjir lah tadi ya. Jadi itulah dari segi persediaan logistik, dari segi tenaga kerja kita, semua dah kita all out dah keluar. Tinggal kata lagi minta-minta lah. Jangan-janganlah kata ada musibah banjir. Tetapi apabila ada musibah, ada kata orang kejadian kecemasan bencana, we are prepared. Kita ada bersedia lah.
Henry said this during TVS program Sejahtera Asia on the preparations by the Fire and Rescue Department in light of the monsoonal surge this morning. Earlier, the Malaysian Meteorological Department, Met Malaysia, issued a continuous rain forecast last week for East Johor, East Sabah and West Sarawak from today till Thursday due to a monsoonal surge.
In the same development, those who are residing in flood-prone areas are advised to put together a survival kit in the event of flash floods. Now, the survival kit should consist of important documents such as medicines as well as sufficient food supplies when seeking shelter at temporary flood relief centres.
Dan kita juga nasihatkan di peringkat bomba ni, kalau boleh di peringkat mereka yang terkesan dengan banjir ni menyediakan beg ikhtiar hidup awal-awal dulu. Jangan pada last minute seperti yang saya dulu awal tahun lepas lah kita pun berkongsi ni, sediakan peralatan kelengkapan diri secukupnya untuk berpindah dan sebagainya. Maksudnya apabila berlaku banjir, grab saja beg ikhtiar ni yang mana mengandungi pakaian, mengandungi dokumen penting, mengandungi alat makan dan sedikit ubat-ubatan ini untuk tuan-tuan bawa berpindah ke rumah tuan-tuan. Jadi kata orang tadi si kacau, si gaduh. Betul. Apabila kita dah berpindah ke PPS, kita dah ada starter pack kita sendiri.
The survival kit will ensure evacuees with some relief either for themselves or for their family whilst waiting for assistance to be distributed from the Social Welfare Department JKM or any other relevant authorities. Aside from the aforementioned items, Henry also advised the public to pack a whistle and a flashlight as it can be used as a tool to alert rescuers if anyone is caught in a severe flood. On to the next news. Recently, many users of the Enter Sarawak application have faced some difficulties as it has caused unnecessary issues due to its last-minute confirmation. As such, the Malaysian Association of Tour and Travel Agents, or MATA Sarawak chapter, has called for an in-depth review of the application. On the matter, MATA Sarawak Chapter Chairman Oscar Chu reiterated almost all members of the travel industry have had their fair share in assisting and tutoring their guests when it comes to the Enter Sarawak application. However, key players in the travel sector would also need to be educated more on using the application. As Sarawak is now allowing interstate travel, he expresses his despair that the Enter Sarawak application is a hassle for applicants, and this would result them to divert their travel destinations to other states. Meanwhile, Oscar hopes that a more relaxed entry requirement to be practiced by STMC to enable applicants to enter the state with ease and confidence, as the travel industry is grappling to survive due to the pandemic. As connectivity has become a necessity in people's lives, the local community in Katibas often express their hope for better connectivity to conduct their daily routine and new practice such as home-based teaching and learning, as well as the state's emergence in the digital economy. Katibas' newly elected Assemblyman Lidam Ahsan divulged his determination to bring about better internet coverage to approximately 154 longhouses.
Lidam made the announcement after paying a courtesy visit to SMA General Manager Dr. Zaidi Raza at his office on Tuesday. Meanwhile, Zaidi thanked Lidam and his entourage for the courtesy visit as he sowed seeds for seamless communication between SMA and the elected representative, as such engagement provides SMA with better insights on what are needed by the local community.
A 71-year-old man who was reported missing when river foraging for shellfish or lokan at the Kanawai River in Sundar Lawas was found in a weak state. Amit Matasan was found by the riverbank about 10 kilometers away from the location he was reported missing.
After Amit was found, the search and rescue operation was called off immediately and the victim was brought to the police station for further action. On Monday, the victim, who was accompanied by a friend, a 49-year-old Rosalie Sahari, to the river in search for shellfish. The duo set off in their own respective boats. Rosalie then rushed back home to lodge a missing person report.
Kita pergi jumpa bekas tukang masak Datuk Tahir.
Cuba Puan rujuk dengan Cik Lydia. Cik Lydia yang banyak tahu hal keluarga tu.
Cik sangka masih juga polis belum nemu kau. Jumpa juga kita dua.
Dulu, kami kerja seorang-seorang. Nik tu, ada kawan kami sekali dengan kami masuk ofis. Sebelum tu, kami berdua aja. Tapi kini dah dapat berkumpul sama dengan keluarga. Kini tu, kita perbetulkan cara hidup kita, ikut SOP dan jaga diri. Jom, kita minum untuk sihat dengan Vidasi.
Saat ini yang menakutkan kita semua. Dunia seakan hilang, kosong. Detik seakan mati. Semua ini berlaku. Sekelip mata. Jika detik ini kembali.
Abang, nak tengok dummy bakar?
Kerana benda kecil, kita hilang yang besar. Keceriaan kembali terukir bila kita fahami keselamatan.
Eddie.
Ianya tidak mahal, tetapi bernilai. Hidup bukan hanya tentang diri kita, tapi tindakan kita mampu mengubah dari apa yang terjadi.
Welcome back to TVS Nightline. Now, breaking news. The Securities Commission Malaysia, or SC, has secured a warrant arrest against the Chief Executive Officer of Serba Dynamic Holdings Berhad, Datuk Muhammad Abdul Karim Abdullah. SC has also charged the group, its managing director and officers for submitting false statements to Bursa Malaysia related to the revenue figure of 6.1 billion ringgit in their financial report for the quarter and year ended December 31 of last year. Karim, who is also the group managing director, and few fellow officers will be charged under Section 369 in bracket A in bracket B of the Capital Markets and Services Act 2007 CMSA, but has yet to claim trial. However, 3 individuals did claim trial, and they are Executive Director Datuk Syed Nazim Syed Faisal, Group Financial Officer Azhan Azmi, and the Vice President of Accounts and Finance Muhammad Hafiz Othman. Independent Non-Executive Director Abu Bakar Uzair, who answered the charge at Kuala Lumpur's Session Court, have also claimed trial. Sessions Court Judge Sabariah Othman has fixed a bail at 300,000 ringgit with 2 sureties each and ordered each individual's passport of the accused to be surrendered to the court. They are also required to report back to SC's investigating officers on a monthly basis. SC's investigation into Serba Dynamic started in May 2021 following a Section 320 CMSA report by an audit firm, KPMG. If found guilty under the stated charge, they would face a jail time of not more than 10 years and a fine of not less than 3 million ringgit or both. The case's hearing has been fixed on January 27, 2022. Now, the Meteorological Department, or Met Malaysia, has issued a yellow alert of continuous rain forecast for the states of Sabah, Kelantan, Terengganu, Pahang and Johor. This was following the current monsoon surge, which is expected to continue until January 3 next year.
In the latest statement today, it said the continuous rain is expected to occur over Tawau, Sandakan and Kudat in Sabah, starting today until January 2. Continuous rain is also expected to occur all over Terengganu and several areas in Kelantan, namely Tumpat, Pasir Mas, Kota Baru, Jeli, Tanah Merah, Bacho, Machang, Pasir Putih and Kuala Krai for December 30 until January 1, 2022. In Pahang, among the areas to experience continuous rain are Jerantut, Maran, Kuantan, Pekan and Rompin, while in Johor, the district of Mersing. According to Met Malaysia, the monsoon surge is expected to bring continuous rain and strong winds that can cause floods in low-lying areas.
The Keluarga Malaysia Maximum Price Control Scheme (SHMKM), which was supposed to end on December 31, has now been extended to February 4. Domestic Trade and Consumer Affairs Minister Datuk Sri Alexander Nantalinggi said the number of daily essentials under the scheme would remain at 12 items from 3 categories: chicken, eggs, and vegetables. Among the items are live chicken, standard chicken, super chicken, grade A, B, and C eggs, long beans, red chili, tomato, choy sum, imported round cabbage from Indonesia and China, as well as cucumber. Prior to this, the government had announced the implementation of SHMKM effective December 7 to 31 in an effort to stabilize the prices of necessities and ensure adequate supply in the market. Nanta said under the scheme there were 4 types of goods involved in the price adjustments, namely chicken, chicken eggs, choy sum, and long beans in selected locations. Throughout SHMKM's implementation, Domestic Trade and Consumer Affairs Ministry enforcement officers will monitor prices daily nationwide. Along with the Agriculture and Food Industry MAFI, we're constantly working in tandem in conducting inspections to ensure adequate supply and price stability. Nanta also advised traders to continue to comply with the scheme's maximum price set, as action can be taken under the Price Control and Anti-Profiteering Act 2011. The list of goods and prices under the scheme can be accessed via the Ministry's official portal as shown on screen. Right. A total of 34 million ringgit has been channeled for distribution as compassionate aid BWI to 34,000 heads of households in the flood-hit states as of yesterday. Civil Defence Force APM has increased its monitoring activities and preparedness in flood-prone areas namely Gum in Sandakan and Lamak in Kinabatangan, in light of the monsoonal surge.
Sandakan APM officer Captain Abdullah Sabaruddin said APM, together with the Sandakan District Disaster Management Committee, or JPBD, had activated the Disaster Operations Control Center last Saturday. He added that they have also received cooperation from the local authorities and the management of Dewan Masyarakat Gum and mosque in the area to be used as relief centers if needed. Meanwhile, Kinabatangan APM officer Captain Ahmad Roslan Muhammad Kamil said the Kinabatangan PKOB had been activated earlier on December 20 as the district has many low-lying areas. As several areas in Lamak, namely Kampung Sungai Lokan and Kampung Pengkalan Bukit Garam, as well as Kampung Suan Lamba, Kampung Dagat, Kampung Litang and Kampung Tidung in Sukau have been identified as flood-prone areas. Sandakan and Kinabatangan have been experiencing cloudy weather and occasional rain since yesterday, while the water level is still below the alert level.
A total of 19,099 people from 5,882 families were housed at 122 flood relief centers in 5 states as at noon today, with the number of evacuees dropping in Selangor, Pahang, Kelantan, as well as Negeri Sembilan, and remaining unchanged in Melaka.
The number was slightly lower than the 20,026 people from 6,136 families at 130 centres in the morning. In Selangor, according to the Social Welfare Department or JKM Info Bercanda portal, the number of victims had decreased to 7,503 at 36 relief centres at noon from 7,751 at 39 centres this morning. It was reported in the public info banje.water.gov.my that the levels of 2 rivers in Selangor were at the alert point, namely Sungai Langat in Bukit Canggang, Kuala Langat at 3.38 metres, and Sungai Bernam in Rimba KDR, Sabak Bernam at 1.89 metres at 10:45 a.m. In Pahang, the State Disaster Management Committee Secretariat said a total of 11,776 flood evacuees were still housed at 83 relief centres in 6 districts this afternoon.
ฝันของผู้หญิงทุกคนคือการได้แต่งงานกับคนที่เรารักและคนที่ฉันรักก็คือผมไม่ว่าแต่งงานกับเมย์เด็ดขาดเมย์เขาไม่ใช่ผู้หญิงที่ผมรักแม่เข้าใจหรือยังถ้าแกไม่แต่งกับเมย์นะแกไม่ต้องมาเรียกฉันว่าแม่การแต่งงานของเราจะต้องเป็นความรัก
Moy menyukai Tien yang merupakan anak kepada ibu angkatnya. Namun Tien tidak tertarik dengan Moy.
Tien
อยู่นะเมย์
ต่อไปเนี้ยเมย์จะเล่นบทผู้ช่วยแล้วก็บทเมียของพี่เทียน
Suatu hari Tien dipaksa menikahi Moy demi menyingkirkan isteri seorang lelaki berkuasa yang pernah bersamanya.
ชื่อยังมึงจับเป็กเทียนซะแล้ว
Adakah Tien akan jatuh cinta kepada Moy pada akhirnya? Bermula 20 Disember ini, saksikan My Husband-in-Law setiap Isnin hingga Khamis 8.45 malam hanya di TVS saluran 122 Astro dan My TV.
Welcome back to TVS Nightline. Now onto some global updates. Brunei Darussalam has become the first ASEAN country to announce its transition into the endemic phase. The Sultan of Brunei, Sultan Hassan Al Bolkiah, made the announcement after making several evaluations, which includes living in the new norm. Wira Gregory has the details.
Following the journey it took to reach the end of 2021, Negara Brunei Darussalam is reaching a rather hopeful light at the end of its second wave of COVID in about 4 months since August. In recent news, entering its endemic phase around the 15th of December, there have been quite a few new developments that have affected the country so far. Among a few examples of the biggest decisions as of late have included the subsequent withdrawal of the country's intention to host the 2027 Southeast Asian Games, along with the postponing of certain programs, such as with the Training for Brunei's National Service program for this year. Nevertheless, following the rapid continuation of Brunei's decrease in COVID cases, along with over 87% of its total population being fully vaccinated, there has been a systematically steady reopening of public facilities, including markets and religious places of worship, accompanied by a scheduled reopening of primary, secondary, and higher education institutions by early next year. Already, civil services and working hours have returned to normal timing, and international travel is set to resume in January. December has indeed been a month of hope and reinvigoration for the Bruneian people, as avid athletes can once more partake of their passions after the ensuing reinstatement of certain sports. For example, racket sports and combat sports such as badminton and karate respectively. As we reach the end of yet another year of trial and tribulation, there remain reasons to be content and hopeful, if not cautious and thoughtful, upon taking the first steps into 2022. Wishing you all the best for the new year. This has been Wira Gregory, TVS, Brunei.
Thank you, Wira. Now, amidst concerns among airlines about the coronavirus Omicron variant, nearly 3,000 flights have been cancelled and more than 12,000 have been delayed globally on Monday.
Despite the fact that the world is in the midst of the winter holiday celebrations, a total of 12,528 delays and 2,959 cancellations have been reported on Monday. Airlines and airports in the United States have accounted for nearly a half of all the delays and cancellations, Flight Radar 24 data showed. Over the Christmas weekend, the air travelers witnessed a similar number of flight disruptions, with 2,513 flights cancelled on Sunday and 2,850 on Saturday. On Sunday, representatives of several airlines, included United, JetBlue, and Delta, said flights were being cancelled over concerns of the Omicron infections among staff. The latest 7-day average of cases has increased to nearly 176,000 cases per day, amid the growing prevalence of the Omicron variant, according to the U.S. Centers for Disease Control and Prevention data.
Now, hundreds of swimmers braved the freezing waters of Prague's Vltava River on Sunday, December 26, in honor of winter swimming pioneer Alfred Nicodem. The 360 participants from 8 different countries, including Poland, the United States, and England, took part in the 100, 300, and 750-meter distances categories. The air was -6 degrees Celsius, and the water temperature hovering between 3 to 4 degrees, the lowest temperature in many years. Long-distance swimmer Lenka Sterbova finished in 9 minutes and 11 seconds, winning the 750 meters race. Alfred Nicodem was a well-known Prague goldsmith and founder of winter swimming in the Czech countries. He braved the cold waters in Prague with his few fellows in 1923. 5 years later, more than 50 people were swimming with him, and since then the tradition has been kept alive every year. Wrapping up the TVS Nightline, a dual-mode bus and rail vehicle, which runs on both roads and rail tracks, will begin operation for the public in Japan's Tokushima prefectural town of Kaiyo on Saturday, December 25. The DMV, or dual-mode vehicle, which resembles a minibus, runs on normal rubber tires when moving on conventional roads. As it arrives at an interchange station, steel wheels descend from the underbelly of the vehicle onto the rail track to begin transforming into a train carriage. The train wheels lift the front tires off the track, while the rear stay in contact to provide propulsion for the DMV to move on the railway. Developed since 2002, the DMV system is now currently being run by Japan's ASA Coast Railway. With a capacity to carry 21 passengers, the DMV runs at a speed of 60 kilometers per hour or 37 miles per hour on rail tracks and can go as fast as approximately 100 kilometers per hour or 62 miles per hour on public roads, according to the company. That's all the time we have for tonight's TVS Nightline. I'm Muhammad Yusuf. Don't forget to follow us on our socials at TVSTVMY. Take care, good night, and stay safe.